All right, Harrisonburg, you know what time it is.
It's 6 to 7 Sam and Dan show. You already know.
6 to 7 every Wednesday.
We're coming at you, WXJM Live.
PM, Prime Meridian time.
Yep.
All right, so this is WXJM Harrisonburg, channel 88.7 on your FM dial.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Wickstrom is known as the powerhouse of the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, and we're the battery powering the powerhouse. And you guys are the battery powering us.
It's kind of like plugging a power strip into itself, just a constant source of free, clean energy.
Okay, so I guess we're just going to dive right in, you know?
I mean, I just want to give a special shout-out to everyone who's listening in tonight. We really wouldn't be here without our fans.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely. You know, we do this for you guys, and well, I hope that all you guys will come to...
We're the voice of the people, and you're the people. So we need you to be your voice. All right. So, yeah. We're actually going to do a little bit of catch-up before we get started on this week's topic. So, for those that don't know, last week we covered the Mothman from local West Virginia.
Yeah.
And some of the mystery, some of the facts surrounding that creature. And something we unfortunately were left out because we ran out of time on the show were some of our own personal theories of how Mothman came to be. So, do you have any of your own, Dan?
Well, you know, we figured that we should really completely wrap up the Mothman thing before we get into this next one, which is another big creature, but
huge creature.
Yeah. For me, I've heard the theory, and I subscribe to the idea that Mothman is an alien. I know we discussed it last weekend, but that seems to be the theory that captures my attention. And, you know, it makes sense. Aliens are, they got big eyes like Mothman. They got large heads and...
right, as far as we know.
Yeah, and they usually attack animals just like Mothman. So that seems to be where, that's where I would put my chips.
Right. Well, I mean, that is a pretty strong theory, but something that I've been thinking about since we last aired is the theory of an industrial revolution migration of Mothmen from Europe to the U.S.
All right.
So bear with me here. Buckle up your seatbelt, audience, because this is a wild ride. It's rated double black diamond.
Yep.
At wherever they rate those kinds of things.
At any sort of ski resort.
Right. It's going to be crazy.
And in our studio, too.
We actually have one of those on the door whenever we start the show, just so people know.
Slap the sticky note on, double black. You already know.
High risk area. Do not enter unless you're an expert coaster. All right. So, anyways, the Industrial Revolution, going back a little history lesson, is when things started getting industrialized in Europe. We started switching from wood power to coal power. The mechanization of industry, which is why it's called industrialization. And, pretty significant period in human history. But an interesting fact is moths in Europe, a certain species of moth, they started out white. They're white moths that live on birch trees.
Yeah.
And as the smoke and the smog and the pollution from the factories entered the air in the UK and other countries, it began to turn the trees darker black. Or closer to black. So it went from being a stark white tree to being more of a gray, sooty tree.
Yeah.
All right. And so over time, the moths actually started to selectively get eaten by birds.
Natural selection, folks.
Right. And other predators. Because a bright white moth stands out against a gray tree. So eventually, all the moths just started being gray moths instead of white moths.
Yes.
All right, so you're probably wondering, how does that tie into Mothman besides...
Besides the fact that they're both moths?
Right. So, our theory is that Mothman could have been a white Mothman to begin with. But, after years of living in the coal mines, famous for holding coal, which darkens your skin if you touch it with residue, have brushed off on his gentle skin. And changed his color to be a more intimidating creature. So not to get into politics, but it would be easier to see a lighter moth in the night and probably be easier to understand what's going on. And I think people would understand it, take more time to understand, if they just took the time to really introduce themselves to Mothman.
Wow. Powerful stuff, folks. I know these thoughts have been weighing heavily on Kiwa's mind, or I should say Sam. I've gotten a lot of midnight calls from him, him just waking up in his sweat, just drenched in sweat, thinking about this Mothman conundrum. And I think he's really happy to finally get it off of his chest and put it out there into the world.
Right. Just something to think about. So it's definitely something that could have developed over time.
Oh, yeah.
Generational thing.
Oh, yeah. Definitely a possibility.
Okay. So, all right. With that out of the way.
Yeah, now get into the main broadcast. Today, the Jersey Devil.
Right. The Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
From famous New Jersey, U.S.A., planet Earth.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the New Jersey Devils, which is New Jersey's hockey team.
Mm-hmm. Do you know who they're playing tomorrow?
Flyers. Looks like the Flyers.
All right. That's going to be a good matchup. Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Big hockey fan.
Oh, yeah.
Over here.
Same here. But getting back to the creature, he's not a hockey player. He's...
no way.
Yeah, he's more of a...
Is Michael Myers a hockey player?
He's more of a bipedal horse-like creature with wings. That's the best way to describe it.
Some sort of scary horse-faced leathery creature that's just repulsive and from New Jersey. And we're not talking about the cast of Jersey Shore.
No.
So we're not talking about Snooki tonight.
Yeah, no way. That's a completely different topic, which...
Totally different situation, you could say. This is the Jersey Devil we're talking about, the one and only.
Yeah. Now let me read you guys out. There's been so many descriptions of this creature, and they've all sort of mashed together into one conglomerate. And so it's the Jersey Devil. It's been described as a kangaroo-like creature with the head of a goat, leathery bat wings popping out of its back, small arms with claws, hooved feet, and a forked tail. So, let all those descriptors coalesce in your mind and create this weird-looking, freaky kangaroo beast.
They're all ingredients in one absolute freak show of a soup, so to speak.
Which is the Jersey Devil.
They're the proverbial
a la carte
Duplo blocks that come together to make some sort of Lego amalgamation. So all the parts are there, but, they're just not right. Something's not right about it.
No.
I've also heard it described as having a dog's head with a horse's face. So I'm not really sure how that would work.
I can't imagine. That's an interesting descriptor. I don't know why you wouldn't just say a horse's head.
With a horse face. But dogs and horses are pretty similar in my mind. It's really just a matter of height.
Folks, that descriptor right there, it just doesn't sound right to me. It's probably some guy, he didn't know what he was looking at. Probably just a normal dog, and he was seeing something that wasn't there. He wanted to see something.
Right. There's probably some doggos out in the woods of New Jersey being involved in things they just really, they're not guilty of.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So,
apologies to all the dogs out there falsely accused of being the Jersey Devil.
Definitely a big problem. But we're going to start getting into the facts now. We've done a little bit of speculation, but so yeah, Jersey Devil usually seen in southern New Jersey in the Pine Barrens.
Swampy area, much like Virginia.
Oh yeah, very swampy, very foresty. Also, sometimes people know the Jersey Devil by the name the Leeds Devil, which is
what's that all about?
So we'll get into the whole backstory of the Jersey Devil in a second, but Leeds is the family name of the family that the Jersey Devil originated from. And their descendants can actually still be found in New Jersey today. So you can go talk to them about young JD, and they'll know exactly what you mean. Right,
I've heard that. It's an offshoot of the original colonists in America, so that family line goes back a long way.
Yeah, bloodline is pure.
Pretty cool history going on there. Okay, so let's dive into the legend itself of the Leeds Devil. So Deborah Leeds was a mother living in the spooky Pine Barrens in the 1730s. All right, so back in the day, there wasn't really much out there.
Yeah.
Just kind of swamps.
The Pine Barrens today are very spooky. Just imagine, 300-odd years ago, the spook factor must have been just out of this world. It would have spooked anybody.
Absolutely spooktacular.
But not Deborah Leeds.
Off the charts. And they didn't have electricity back then, so it's not like you could, flip on the lights.
No, they used to, burn whale blubber and wood. And chew on bark. So.
Boil leather for dinner.
Yeah.
That's just what they had to do. Eat handfuls of sawdust for sustenance.
Yeah. Times were tough back then. And those are the sort of times that would form such a creature. Sam, if you don't mind getting back into it.
Right. Yeah, sure. So Deborah Leeds was a struggling mother of 12. And upon becoming pregnant for the 13th time, for those of you unfamiliar,
unlucky 13.
It is an unlucky number. She cursed the child that she was pregnant with in extreme frustration, claiming that the baby should be a devil, since it was just such a burden.
Yeah.
I mean, having 12 kids back then, that's pretty rough. You can't just stick an iPad in front of them and have them shut up.
And, it's hard enough now giving birth to 12 kids, but I can imagine back in the day, popping out the 13th one must have been a real hard time.
Middle
of
the
woods. I feel
woods.
for her. I really feel for her.
No anesthetic, no painkillers, just labor, physical labor.
Wow.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah.
So the child was
Let's get away from this topic.
The child was born normally, but it quickly transformed into the creature previously described.
Yeah.
This disgusting beast,
kangaroo, horse, bat,
devil,
creature,
the Jersey
monster.
Devil.
Yeah.
So it then let out a blood-curdling shriek, attacked several of the witnesses, and its own family, really.
Yeah.
And flew out the chimney and out into the darkness and remote wilderness of the New Jersey pines.
So this is a classic tale, and in some retellings, people have claimed that the mother herself was a witch, which is why the baby came out the way it did. And I have to stress that in the reports, the baby did come out normal, but then it after it came out normal, it transformed into the kangaroo horse beast and then flew out the chimney.
Right.
So, I don't know what that's about, but
some sort of animorph.
Yeah. The first animorph.
So they claimed that she was a witch, but and it's alleged that the biological father was the devil himself. I don't know if that's true.
No, probably not, dude.
But Harry Potter hadn't been written yet, so I don't see how anyone was a witch back then if they didn't have the school of witchcraft and wizardry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that just seems outrageous, that claim. There's nothing backing it up. And about the father being the devil,
the devil is down in Georgia.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Right there. You won't be able to make that trip up to New Jersey, especially not back in those days. You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to today. You wouldn't want to go there.
That's probably at least like a 5-hour, 6-hour walk, maybe, if I had to guess. And I'm not walking that
And the
far.
devil's got long legs, folks.
That's true.
Okay.
So you got a little background on the where the devil was born.
Okay. So, again, we've said the Jersey Devil, born in the Pine Barrens. But we sent some researchers to the Pine Barrens not but a week ago to
about a week ago.
Yeah, to check out the situation, see if they could find any Jersey Devil clues or anything to corroborate this tale. And they came across a house, or not a house, I should say, the ruins of a home off of Moss Mill Road in southern New Jersey.
It still stands today, so I've heard.
Yeah, and upon hearing this, they reported back to us, who are we're the big kahunas. We call the shots.
All information flows through us.
Yeah, and then we flow it to you guys. So
voice of the people.
Yeah. So they gave us this juicy info about this house, or the ruins of a house, and we gave them to go ahead to set up a sting operation. They brought their mystery van down there. They sat in there all day with a bunch of laptops and some cameras and a lot of takeout food.
Takeout or stakeout? Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get back to you guys on the results of that investigation.
And what results they are,
Very
incredible.
compelling.
All right.
But if you guys are ever in the area, you can check out the historical architecture steeped in legend of the Jersey Devil. It's still out there, much like some of the Civil War constructions in Virginia, which I would also recommend checking out.
Similar significance in history as well.
Right. I agree. All right. So the last thing before we hit some PSAs for the break, in support of this legend, it's been found that the human father of the Jersey Devil, Japhet Leeds, actually named 12 children in his will.
Wow. So, please go ahead.
So there's obviously some kind of legal documentation that the Jersey Devil is out there, and further proof that Japhet Leeds was not a big fan of his 13th child.
Yeah, absolutely not. I
mean, seeing as he left a diddly squat of what I imagine was probably not a large fortune living in the middle of New Jersey.
I would imagine, though, if you were a father and your 13th child came out as a beast, I imagine you would be happy to have that kid just because it would be something different. Because you have all these, you got 12 bland kids, and then you pop out like a kangaroo horse monster.
Right, a bunch of vanilla pudding people.
Yeah.
And then something really cool and spiky.
Yeah, you get vanilla pudding with sprinkles and in a swirl,
Right.
Which is the JD, Jersey Devil.
Exactly. So, I don't know. Maybe Japhet Leeds was in the right. Maybe he's in the wrong. I don't know. Write your opinions on our Twitter. Send us your tweets at Sam and Dan Show. And here's our legal ID.
You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
88.7 WXJM Harrisonburg.
All right, and we're back, folks.
Yep, we are back. WXJM coming at you live.
Yeah, the time is now 6:17. We're having a little bit of a database error right now. Every clock in this room is different.
Yeah, it's probably one of the many interns here playing a hot goof on us. They probably came in here, messed with all our clocks, but we can't. Right. We don't know what time.
We can't be stopped.
Yeah,
we're still on air, still broadcasting because we need to.
Yeah, time is now somewhere in between 6:17 and 6:19.
Right, plus or minus 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so continuing on, possible. We're gonna start getting into the meat of the matter. The possible sightings and reports of the Jersey Devil itself. So, Dan, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so first sighting we're gonna get into today. It's a household name. Well, almost a household name. Half of the name is a household name. Joseph Bonaparte, older brother to Napoleon, who's much more famous than him.
I've heard of him. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big player.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say big. Am I right?
Hey.
Bang, bang. All right. But, yeah, Joseph Bonaparte's his older brother. 1812, Joseph Bonaparte, he's in the New World, checking
exiled
it out.
to the United States.
Yeah.
The armpit of the East Coast, New Jersey.
Truly a fate worse than death. But, so, he's there. He's hunting in the woods in his border town estate, which is in southern New Jersey next to the border pines, of course.
Right.
And he spies himself a Jersey-like devil down in those woods. It flew by him as he was hunting. He popped off a couple shots. He missed because Jersey Devil is fast, folks.
And muskets are not very accurate. This was 1812.
Yeah, absolutely not. No way you're hitting that bad boy with a musket. And the thing about this claim that, really takes the cake for me is Joseph Bonaparte, he's got nothing to prove like his little brother. His little brother.
Little brother.
Yeah. His little brother, he had, the classic Napoleon complex. He's the namesake for it. He had to make a big name for himself. Not Joseph. Joseph's chilling in the woods. He's hunting. What reason does he have to lie about seeing a kangaroo horseman in the woods?
Right, and that's not the kind of thing you would make up.
No, it's not the thing you could have made up.
Right, you had to have seen something in order to write something down like that, report it to the authorities, who I believe at the time were probably getting their buildings burned down by the invading British forces. But he reported it to somebody. So
he sent out a few letters, sent out a few pigeons.
Right, and now we know.
Yeah.
It's written in history.
Mm-hmm.
And,
It is history.
You know, I mean, we ragged on Napoleon a little bit, but I'm a huge fan of his ice cream.
Oh, absolutely.
Napolitan ice cream with the 3 different flavors.
I think it's Napolitan.
Oh, from Naples,
Yeah.
Italy, where Napoleon is not from.
Yeah. Again, getting back into the Jersey
Okay,
Devil,
yeah,
not
right.
ice cream. This isn't the week for ice cream talk. That comes much later.
We'll get there, though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Okay, so 1812 was a big one. Pretty reputable figure.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, did the sightings go off the charts in 1909.
Absolutely buck wild, folks.
Weeks and months of mayhem. A whole year of near constant Jersey Devil sightings.
Yeah.
So the highest number in all of New Jersey's history, more than 1,000.
Wow.
So if we'll put that into the number quintuplon, and all right, 1,000 divided by 365. But we got that's about 3 a day.
Wow. That's outrageous.
Right.
At that time, I didn't know there were even 3 people living in New Jersey.
Right.
Which is
It's
truly astounding.
It's hard to believe, but well, actually, maybe it was just the same 3 people giving one report a day for a whole
reporting
year.
it 3 times every day.
Or just January 1st, 1,000 people saw the Jersey Devil at once. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from these numbers.
We don't have the facts. We not on this one, at least. Not
We got
on
most
each
of the
individual site. Yeah. We got most of the facts, but not on each individual sighting.
Right. So, yeah, lots of sightings in New Jersey and the Pine Barren region and the surrounding area. But also, Dan, there's a pretty interesting tidbit I saw your researchers dug up.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I'll tell you. I'll get right into that in just a second. Looks like we
Right.
got a caller.
We've got a call coming in.
Let's see what we got.
All right. Dan's taking the call right now.
What up, Sam and Dan Show, WXJM.
As promised last week, we are actually working on getting the callers patched in directly to the radio show. I spoke with the station engineer, and he said the technology is forthcoming. So just stay tuned. We'll get those voices on air soon. I know that the fans are really excited about that sort of thing. Dan and I are both really excited about this, and we're looking forward to bringing that technology to the people. I mean, it is 2018. We've got VR goggles that can display basically anything you want to look at. So I don't get why we don't have phone calls coming directly in. All right, Dan's still on the line. I'm sure he's got a really good story to share with us.
Well, thanks a lot, Pork Chop. But let me relay that to the listeners real quick. I appreciate the call.
All right. All right, Dan, what you got for us?
Take care now.
Hey, thanks for calling, Pork Chop.
So I just got a very interesting call from a man named Pork Chop. He has claimed to see the Jersey Devil. He described it very similar.
Is he a New Jerseyan?
Absolutely.
Oh.
With a name like Pork Chop, you know,
I believe
you're
it.
either West Virginia or you're New Jersey, and in this case, he was New Jersey.
I see.
So, he claimed he saw a kangaroo horse creature with hooves, but the interesting thing is that he described it as having horns, which,
Interesting.
yeah, it's possible that the creature could have grown horns over the years, or perhaps some sticks. You know, it's very furry. Perhaps some sticks got stuck up there, made it look like horns. I don't
Right,
know.
or maybe it's horse-like ears.
Yeah, but Pork Chop, thanks again for calling in. We really appreciate it's, any first-hand sightings of the creature. It's just an absolute treat to hear about.
That's a record we're going to add to our database right now.
Yep.
I'm going to spin up the magnetic tapes and get this information in there.
Okay, so getting back into it, right before the call, we were talking about the 1909 sightings and how big and wild they were. But there was one that was bigger and wilder than any other sighting ever reported, and that's it was reported by Navy Commander Stephen Decatur.
de Courtois, maybe. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. That was just my best stab at it.
We like to Americanize everything on here, so we hit it. Decanter is how lovers
Stephen
of freedom
Decatur.
would say it. Yeah, Decatur. Anyways, Navy commander, he claimed to have blasted the Jersey Devil with a cannonball.
A whole cannonball.
Yeah, and he said that he blew a hole straight through it. However,
Oh my gosh.
it didn't even seem to faze the creature, which just flew away.
That just astounds me. This is definitely an expert testimony, historical one, but still an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Naval commanders are not known for goofing around, so
No, they aren't.
that's one
They
thing.
never goof.
You ever seen Captain Crunch crack a joke? I don't think so.
Never. He's too busy crunching.
Right, exactly. So just hearing that, and the fact that Jersey Devil shrugged off a cannon blast is
And
just
what a blast it was.
impressive. I can't imagine that. I definitely would not be able to withstand a cannonball
No,
going through me.
I might. Depends, where it hits me. But,
I guess it does depend
yeah.
where it hits.
But getting back into this, a very interesting aspect of this for me, as I was thinking about it, hitting the Jersey Devil with a cannonball is incredible. But I think the biggest, most incredible feat that Decatur here accomplished was he managed. I don't know how he possibly managed to get his boat onto land in order to blast the creature.
Right. That is something quite an impressive feat.
I mean, he is a Navy commander. He's on his boat. I'm assuming he saw the creature in the woods and he just drove it straight onto land.
Perhaps it was a broadside into the swamp
Yeah.
alongside him.
Definitely a possibility too. But he drove it onto land. He blasted the creature, and he reported it.
Right. It's kind of hard to tell from the report whether or not he was on a boat, but just given his background,
Navy, he's probably on
right,
a boat.
most cannons that I've seen have been attached to boats in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Water cannons on firefighting boats, that sort of thing. Cannons on pirate ships. So it just doesn't make sense. Who has a cannon just laying in their front yard to shoot?
I can't think of anybody.
Right. It just doesn't make sense. So, we're almost up to promo time.
Just said it.
That's the pizza. Promos are these.
Oh yeah.
All right. So
Talk it over here.
yeah, sorry about that. A little confusion in the studio, but we actually do have some promos finally. So I'll get Friday and Saturday. Dan, you can get these 3. All right. So this Friday, folks, coming up. Oh, that already passed. That was January 26th. Okay. All right. So Friday, February 2nd, at Alpaca at 10 p.m., we got Ryan Cam, Zach Benson, Raquan Thomas, and they're going to be doing an R&B, pop, and hip-hop sort of exhibition at Alpaca 10 p.m. February 2nd.
Okay.
So if you're interested in that scene, you can check it out if you like. After that, we've got also Friday, February 2nd, at the Golden Pony, Eclipse Season Concert with Lackey Moon Oval, The Eclipse, and Dead Bedrooms. So that's a show downtown Harrisonburg at a nice establishment.
That is a show, yeah.
So you can also go to that one if you'd like to. Completely optional.
And top of the hour right now, about 6:30. You're listening to WXJM Harrisonburg, Sam and Dan show, 6 to 7 every Wednesday. We're gonna pop on a quick PSA right now.
All right. Go ahead and play it.
Drought isn't just tough on people, it can be stressful for animals too. Do your part to help wildlife survive a drought by creating a water feature. Even a small amount of water can help animals out a great deal. Bird baths are an easy way to add a water feature to your landscape. They should be shallow with textured bottoms and gently sloped sides. Keep them clean of algae with a plain textured sponge. For a butterfly watering station, bury a saucer filled with pine bark or small stones, adding water to overflowing. Occasionally adding a piece of overripe fruit will provide salts and amino acids that butterflies need. Small in-ground ponds or tub gardens don't take that much water and can attract a variety of wildlife. Incorporate a filter in plants and see who comes to the watering hole. If you're worried about mosquitoes breeding in your water, just purchase some gambusia fish, which feed on the larvae. You can also add the bacteria Bt if your fish aren't doing the job. This public service announcement is brought to you by Gardening in a Minute. For more information about drought, visit gardeninginaminute.com or contact your University of Florida IFAS County Extension Office.
I've been trying
All right, and we're back.
We're back on air, folks.
All right. So, as we were saying, obviously no one's got a cannon sitting in their front yard.
No.
So obviously,
Gotta be on a boat.
He
Gotta
dragged
be on
his
a
boat on land. Pretty impressive.
Incredible feat.
All right,
Truly
so-
a commander worth writing about.
Yeah. So, little known fact, Commander Decatur was famous and respected for his battles in the Barbary Wars in the Mediterranean.
Against barbers.
Right. So, but not the kind of barbers that'll mess up your fade. We're talking about barbers from the Barbary Coast.
Yeah.
Barbarian barbers.
That sort of barber.
Right.
Arguably worse.
So that brings us to this week's Mediterranean connection.
Mm.
Barbary Coast is on the right side. What cardinal directions? East side of the Mediterranean. And Mediterranean people coming to the U.S. often come from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And Italy is the source of many New Jersey peoples.
Okay.
So, is it possible? What do you think we can draw from this, Dan?
Well, going off the idea that a lot of these Mediterranean people, they
Made their way to the Dirty Jers.
Yeah, they moved into the Dirty Jers. Is it possible that the Jersey Devil, he was alive before the whole tale came about, and he disguised himself as a person? He put on a hoodie and some sunglasses and a fake nose. He hopped on the boat and he rode over to the U.S., and that's why he's in New Jersey. Mediterranean New Jersey Devil. Definitely a possibility, folks.
I think that could be true. All right. So,
You think it could be true?
I think it could be true.
Definitely a huge possibility.
I can either confirm nor deny it, but we've got our researchers working on that. We're going to bring up boat logs for anyone with a horse-like face and claws like a T-Rex.
And if any of you people see any person who's looking, kangaroo-like or horse-like, give them a stop them. Be like, hey man, are you the Jersey Devil?
Right, you can call that in
Yeah.
at the Wix Gym Station. So we got researchers ready to answer the line if you want.
Yeah.
And that's at 540-JMU dial if you want to make that call.
Mm-hmm.
But, be vigilant.
Yeah, and we've already had Pork Chop call in, and report it. So he's, JD's out there, He's out there.
All right, so most recent sighting, in 2014, allegedly police in the cities of Camden and Bristol, two different places, Camden, Bristol, sighted the creature and fired upon it. And amazingly, much like the Cannonball story, the Jersey Devil was completely unfazed. Didn't even flinch, didn't slow down, not even wounded.
Dang.
So he's some kind of fitness maniac.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can ascertain for that.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing. I mean, the police have reported it themselves.
Yeah.
So I've also heard stories of firemen were putting out a fire in Camden. The Jersey Devil actually likes to hang around Camden. So if you're looking for him, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, chilling Camden.
Besides the Pine Barrens.
Yeah, which is the first place to start.
Right, that's the first place to go, but Camden's a close second. Firemen were putting out a fire in 1945 and spotted a creature land on one of the adjacent buildings that resembled the Jersey Devil. They turned their hoses on it, and it startled the creature and scared him away. So,
what's interesting about that story, imagining the Jersey Devil getting spooked by water, but yet he unflinchingly takes cannon shots and bullets. It's interesting. Perhaps water is his weakness,
that's definitely something to consider. I'm going to start, next time I visit New Jersey, I'm going to make sure I've got a spray bottle handy full of H2O. Looks like we're getting another call to the studio.
Let me pick this bad boy up.
Yeah, Dan's going to bring it online for us.
Hey, Sam and Dan Show, WXJ in Harrisonburg.
All right, so going back on the sightings.
Oh, really?
So, like we said before, 1909 was an absolutely crazy year. Back when they had streetcars, 2 separate incidences occurred where a streetcar full of people is minding their own business, driving around the city, and they've... Dan's getting pretty excited. Sounds like this call is really juicy. All right. So, streetcars full of people witness some sort of creature, some winged, leathery kangaroo horse beast cross the street in front of them. So, streetcars can hold up to 30 people or more, depending on if you're willing to squeeze and how much you like your neighbors. But that is a lot of reports from one place that saw the same thing. So I just don't think that a crowd that large would be able to mistake a creature like that.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we got a call from a man who claims to be our number one fan, and that's the surname he's going by, number one fan.
Number one fan?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of number one fan. Thanks for calling in.
Number one fan, regular caller, always got great information. He brought up a theory about the ship getting onto land.
Right.
Which
I was kind of in the dark on that one, so let's hear what he has to say.
So, number one fan, first off, I have to ask you fans, have you ever heard of Peter Pan?
Like the peanut butter. Are you
I'm
saying you
talking
slathered
about-
a ship in peanut butter?
That's also definitely a possibility. But I'm thinking more along the lines of Peter Pan, little green boy. Oh, little green. He's a little boy who wears green tights, and
Like Robin Hood.
Yes, he rides around. Well, he doesn't ride on anything. He flies with the help of his fairy. You sprinkle fairy dust on something, and it lets you fly. Now, the connection number one fan made with Peter Pan, the fairy, and the boat. Is it possible that this captain had his own fairy, and he sprinkled some of the fairy dust onto the boat, allowing him to fly on land and blast the Jersey Devil?
I think that's something that we should take into consideration. Fairies are known to live on ships, as proved by the Peter Pan movie.
Absolutely.
The documentary released by Disney a few years back.
Captain Hook was always looking for a fairy because he was a captain, so you need a fairy. Captains always have fairies.
Right. So that is an interesting theory. All right. So moving on. So what else do we know about New Jersey?
New Jersey has a lot of names. You guys probably know it,
We've been throwing some out on the show.
Yeah. It's been it's home to the show Jersey Shore. It also managed to take the nickname the armpit of the East Coast, at least around the offices here.
Right. The Dirty Jers is also another famous one that people like to throw out there.
Big name, yeah. Big name for it.
Not sure why.
Well,
but
all these names they create an image of, a gross swampland.
The perfect place for a Jersey Devil to live.
Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking. Where else would a Jersey Devil live other than a gross swampland? And if this child... I was thinking, the 13th child, he comes out, he's already unlucky, his mom's cursed him, he looks around, realizes he's been born in New Jersey.
Wow.
And he just transforms into a devil because, life can't get any worse.
Right, that's basically rock bottom.
Yeah.
1700s, middle of the swamp, 13th child. I would, if I had the choice, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, turn into a kangaroo boy. It's
right.
Truly his only option.
A very long-lived kangaroo creature.
More than 200, 300 years, folks. JD's very, very old.
He's tenacious and still young.
Yeah.
We don't know the lifespan on Jersey Devils, or if there are multiple Jersey Devils, or some sort of regenerating Jersey Devil aspect.
Yeah.
But
perhaps he goes into a cocoon and pops out fresh.
Right.
We don't know. Or if he uses lotion, keeps his skin... his
regenerating
skin.
cream?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wrinkle reducers and such?
L'Oreal. Something.
It just makes sense.
Not a plug.
All right. So, going off the creature aspect, the Philadelphia Zoo, from famous Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was actually rumored to hold a huge reward for anyone who can prove the existence of the Jersey Devil by providing a stool sample. I'm not talking carving wood for something you can sit on. I'm saying Jersey Devil feces collection in the woods. And if you bring some legitimate squat to the Philadelphia Zoo, you could cash out on that fortune that they're offering.
Going off the zoo offering such a large amount of money, which they haven't disclosed an exact amount, but they have said it is very large, the amount of money they're willing to give. Hearing this back in 1910, right at 1909, that was the year of JD hype.
Right.
1910, a local circus master, he offered $250,000 to anybody who could capture the Jersey Devil. And let me...
$250,000.
Yeah, back in 1910. Now,
holy cannoli.
Sam, do you mind punching that into the computer, seeing what that is in today's bucks?
Let me throw this in the transmorphifier. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Beep, boop, boop, boop. All right, well, critical numbers.
Wow.
This is looking like we're looking at $6,230,046 and, wait for it, folks, 42 cents.
Wow.
In 2018 money.
Absolutely outrageous. If you can get yourself a Jersey Devil, you can make out with 6
like a
mil
bandit.
smackers.
Right, and 42 cents. So, on your way to buy your $6,230,000, $46 house, boat, yacht, helicopter, whatever, you got enough change left over for a gumball or two in the drugstore.
A couple of gumballs with your boys. It's just a good time.
Nothing more American than that. So, that is a staggering sum. More money than I'm probably ever going to see in my life. But,
almost as much as we make here.
Right. I just burned through my salary too quickly is my issue.
Yeah.
But we're going to be using the historical figure of $250,000 in 1910 money just so we can, keep the figures simple and manageable.
Yeah, and we're mentioning that because we're about to get into a brand new segment we're bringing you, which is called Smart Investing with Sam and Dan. Now, a lot of people don't know this about us, but not only are we avid cryptozoologists, but we also know a thing or two about cashola,
Going off cryptocurrency investment.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with a crypt, we're on it.
Yeah.
Mummies, you're next. Look out.
We're coming for you.
Okay, so before we get into the new segment, the time is maybe 6:42, 6:43. We're not sure, like we said.
Mine says 6:44, so we got numbers all over the place.
Okay, so somewhere up there, we're going to be going over the weather. All right, so right now, it's clear in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. It's Wednesday, 6:43. We got a current temperature of 38 degrees. In 1 hour, it's going to be 38 degrees still. Thursday, we're going to be getting some light showers with a high of 51 and a low of 22 degrees. Mm-hmm. Friday is going to be sunny, but get your coats and scarves out because it's going to be a high of 26 and a low of 14. So just given the massive winds and how cold this is, Dan, I would recommend staying inside as much as possible because it does not sound like a good time out there.
Good time to hit the databases and do your research.
Right. Collect research. That's what we need more of.
Yeah, absolutely. You're listening to WXJM Harrisonburg, Sam and Dan show, 6 to 7, every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah, bringing the facts.
Every 6 to 7. Okay, so back to the show.
Yeah. We're talking smart investing with Sam and Dan.
All right. So, Dan, looks like some of our experts in the field have actually given us their standard operating equipment. Mm-hmm. Quick little rundown to get started on hunting cryptids, but the Jersey Devil specifically.
Yeah.
So why don't you read off what we've got from our experts in the field who do this day in, day out?
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention, we did order a sting operation of the area back in the day. And this was the exact sort of kit that they used in order to stake out the area. Granted, they didn't find anything, but
unfortunately, we found that the Jersey Devil was so hurt by its own father writing it out of the will that it refused to set foot on its childhood home ever again.
Yeah, but with such an outrageous sum of money that's available, at $250K in $1910, $6 mil today, we figured, on Sam and Dan investing, the best way to use your money if you would like, the best way to use your money.
We're not financial experts. We're monster hunters.
Yeah.
So just throwing
This is
out
just a
there.
suggestion.
Take it with a grain of salt. This is satire.
Yeah.
But
Or
moving
is it?
forward.
But it's not satire. Okay, so basic Jersey Devil hunting kit. First off, lab coat. Because if you're going to be spending time, you're cryptozoologist, you're
doing
in the
hard
lab.
sciences.
Yeah, you're in the lab grinding all day. You're combining potions. You're dancing around. You got your goggles on.
Right. Rubber gloves.
Yeah, an absolute must-have in the field. After that, ghillie suit. Jersey. It's a swamp. It's gross. It's
Right.
gross. There's trees. It's a terrible place to be.
Lots of moss and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah,
That's what swamps are known for,
you
right?
you would need the ghillie suit. You blend in perfectly. You're sitting in the woods. You hunch down. You just look like a bush. Jersey Devil won't see you coming.
Right, so you can get right up on him
Yeah.
while he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He probably sleeps at some point. That's when you get him.
Which brings us to the next item. Well, I should say next two items, which are absolutely imperative.
In fact, I actually carry these around most of the time.
Yeah, he
in my
really
personal
does,
life.
folks. They're an absolute necessity for everyday life. We're talking grapple hook and a crossbow that can shoot the grapple hook.
Right. Obviously. I mean, a grappling hook on its own, pretty useful.
Litany of
actually.
uses.
Very many uses. But given that a crossbow specifically configured to launch grappling hooks, that's just an everyday sort of thing that you kind of need,
Yeah. Mhm.
I was actually surprised when I asked 99 of my closest friends, and 98 of them told me they don't carry around a crossbow with grappling hook combination
Wow.
on the regular.
That's very concerning.
So I was kind of shocked. But let's make a running total of what we got so far. So we've got lab coats. Those come out to $10.
Approximately.
Right. Keeping it low cost
Mhm.
because you're going to be going through them. It's a dangerous operating environment out there.
Absolutely.
Ghillie suit, $100.
Yeah, runs you about 100 smackers.
Grappling hook. If you're getting a titanium Climb Master 5000, that's going to run you $40
Yeah.
for the hook and rope.
Just a great deal, folks. A great deal at any price, really.
Right. And then to top that off, where we're at now in this list, about halfway through, we got the crossbow, modified, $80.
Yeah.
Local sporting goods stores will probably have them if you need to look into that.
Yeah. You can go check it out. Pick up your grappling hook. Pick up your crossbow. Imagine.
They might let you try it out in the store, climb a couple aisles or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, someone is going for a piece of clothing that you want, and they're reaching for it. You blast the clothing with the grappling hook, and then you pull it back to yourself. You just beat them, which I think is just incredibly useful. And another example, you're coming home, your friend is hiding in the bush, and he jumps out and spooks you, and you freak out, and you throw your house keys on top of your roof. Like when you flail your arms up, you toss them up on top of the roof.
Out of pure shock.
Yeah, it happens to everybody. You take your grappling hook, you blast it up there, you climb up, you get your keys, you get in your house. Otherwise,
That's simple.
yeah, you got to move out because at that point, keys are on the roof. Adios, house.
Right. Something I've run into before. You're at your local bakery shop, coffee house. Huge line of people because it's the morning rush. They call out your order, but lo and behold, 50 people stand between you and the goods that you paid for.
A tragedy.
You just whip out that crossbow. Everyone's going to hit the deck. You shoot that thing, snag it with the hook on the way back.
Yeah.
Boom. One latte delivered right to the end of your crossbow in your hand.
Latte via hook. Very cool way to get your latte. Make a lot of friends.
Right. So we're getting close to the end. So we're going to continue with the list. So what's next on the list, Dan?
So next, tracking dogs. You can buy these tracking dogs. You can buy a dog and train it to track. Or you can rent them out for a night. I found websites, you can rent yourself a tracking hound for $100 a night.
That's
Or a
chump
day
change.
too, which really fantastic price. You're sitting out there in your ghillie suit. You got your dog. You got your crossbow. The Jersey
Grappling
Devil
hook.
is going to have a rough time.
Lab coat underneath for when you got to get to
Yeah.
the science aspect.
Mhm.
And another important fashion statement, but also functional, thigh-high
Incredibly
rubber boots.
functional. Yeah.
Those will run you about $60 if you're going to get them.
Yeah, if you're going with quality,
Right.
dense rubber boots.
We're talking 75% leg coverage because you're going to be wading through swamps. You want
Yeah.
those rubber boots as tall as possible.
Absolutely. You don't want, you take a step. If you only got ankle-high boots, you take a step, you sink all the way in. Your ghillie suit, it's all muddy. But if you jam the bottom of your ghillie suit into your giant rubber boots, you take a step, you sink waist deep. Doesn't even matter, folks. Doesn't even matter.
And your socks stay bone dry.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows you can't go cryptid hunting with wet socks.
You can't do anything with wet socks, really.
You can't even function.
No.
All right, so what's next on the list?
This one I think is absolutely indispensable. It's an EOTech GPNVG ground panoramic night vision goggle.
Vehicle mounted.
Yeah, it's a vehicle mounted night vision goggle system. Now this is it's a little more expensive than some of the other things on the list. It runs you about $42,999.99, not including shipping or tax.
Looks like it's got free shipping.
Yeah.
So that's a little
never
bit of
mind.
a savings to the end user.
Now's the time to buy. And, you have yourself this high-tech panoramic night vision goggle. You just need a vehicle to mount it to. Bam. Old U.S. Army light medium tactical vehicle, LMTV. You can find it for $5,000 on a government surplus website.
Mm-hmm. Good place to find stuff if you're just poking around.
Yeah, you're just hanging out. You need a tactical vehicle.
Right.
Pick it up, $5,000.
So, adding that all up, obviously that's going to put you back a little bit. But, we here at the studio are pretty well funded, so it doesn't even faze us.
No, we don't even blink. Really.
But that's nothing.
Yeah.
But, all that money spent doing what you love, a night driving through the woods with night vision goggles.
Wow.
Hunting the Jersey Devil. Just hearing the wind in the trees, the howling of creatures in the night.
Absolutely.
Spending time with your buddies, absolutely priceless.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, folks.
You cannot.
All your boys, or chicks too, you got your boys and your chicks.
We're
you guys,
speaking proverbial boys.
Yes, yeah.
Gender-inclusive boys.
Yes, everybody's included when we say boys. But you got your boys, you're in your tactical vehicle chilling. You got, panoramic vision of the entire forest at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good time, folks. I can't think of anything else I would rather be doing. And,
I strongly recommend that.
Mm-hmm. And, if you guys all go in together, let's say, you got 4 of your closest boys with you, 5 boys, you're running...
A 5-boy squad?
Yeah, a 5-boy squad. You're running close to about, it's not much more. The total, we already mentioned, it comes out to about $47,399.99. But you only need to buy one set of night vision goggles and, and
Right.
one
So,
tactical vehicle.
It just kind of makes sense to buy in bulk. And, that's without tax or shipping, but, it's all of those are cheaper if you pick it up at the factory.
Mm-hmm.
But, that really pales in comparison to the payout.
Yeah.
You're putting your sweat equity into this endeavor, and all said and done, that leaves you with a grand net profit of $202,000.
Wow. And that's in 1910 money.
In
folks.
1910
We haven't even converted it to now bucks.
Right. At this moment.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to, but that's something, if one of our callers could call in and let us know what $202,000 in 1910 money would be worth today, we'll make sure, it's worth your while. So, that's pretty much what we've got for tonight.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to call in that number, because I can't calculate it. Our mainframe's a little slow today.
Yeah.
That's 540 JMU dial.
Mm-hmm.
Dan?
Yeah. If you allow me to quickly get back into this this stakeout that I was talking about earlier, the kit that we just described is the general kit that was used by our boots on the ground, as as we like to call them. The boys out in the field doing research. You could get your boys together if you like. Go out there, do some hunting, pull yourself a nice profit, and I think Sam and I can both agree that is the best use of anybody's money, really.
It doesn't have to be yours necessarily.
Yeah, it could be anybody's.
If you find it in the bag under a park bench,
it's fair game. Some
That's all you.
people might even say that if you find a bag full of money under a park bench, then it was set there for you.
It would
You know,
be
it's
illegal
destiny.
not to take it.
Yeah, and to use it for endeavors such as hunting the Jersey Devil, which the turnaround on that is a small investment, huge payoff.
Lifelong memories that you can't pay for. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, as we're sitting here, I figure we should say to the people, we've been getting a lot of calls in studio, and right now we're having the boys that they're working on.
I mentioned this already.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I must have
during
been on the
last call.
phones.
Right. But yeah, that is something we're working on. We're working on getting our official Twitter page set up, our official SoundCloud.
Yeah.
To the best of our ability, we're doing our best to record our shows and get them online to you. Right now, the WXJM website is the best place to go for that. That's WXJM.org. You can listen live. And we'll be posting our official details later in the week.
Yeah.
Later in the week. So that wraps up our show tonight. We're going to hand it over to the next hosts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks for listening, guys. This is WXJM Harrisonburg.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great night.
Sam and Dan Show. You already know.
Signing off.